Whenever you're ready, Wallace.
All right. Let me get here. I think it's nice and wet. Welcome, everybody, to Juice Pro Wrestling, episode 62, Mindcrawler. With us today is a very special guest, Josef Samael. Did I botch it, or am I all good?
No, you're all good. You're all good. It's a very difficult name. People always call me Samuel.
Yeah, even though there's no you, but
Idiots.
Still... Fucking dumbasses!
Fucking dum-dums.
They're fucking...
Hey, dum-dum!
Yeah, but I've been wanting to get you on this show for a long time. I saw you a few months back in Cicero. For those of you out there listening that may or may not be aware, Joseph is a part of a badass fucking tandem in Major League Wrestling, a.k.a. MLW, called Contra unit. You guys came out there in Cicero and fucking destroyed shit, dude. Like, Simon Grimm, or what's he in MLW? Is he going by
Simon Gotch?
Simon Gotch.
Yeah, Jacob too.
Yeah, the Samoan werewolf, dude. I was super fucking impressed with him. Like,
yeah, he's incredible, man.
yeah, you guys came out and destroyed shit. Had the fucking fans throwing trash. Had like that old NWO vibe to it, you know. Like, got some real heat. People were throwing trash in the ring. I know my son was there with me, and he tried to throw an empty Sprite can and hit this lady in the head. So,
Excellent.
yeah, it all worked out pretty good, I thought. I was like, just look the other way so they don't think it was you. But, yeah, I was super impressed, man. And one thing I got to tell you, too, I love the attire, man. The chic boots, dude. The most...
Oh, yeah, that's a long-standing thing with me. I've had those for, well, not that particular pair, but I've had the style for, going on, I guess, 15 years now. I could be wrong, but yeah, something like that, 15 years.
Yeah, and you got, I really dig, like, the black and red. And what is that, like the pagan star or, like, the satanic star going on with your tights?
Yeah, the character is, it's like an underworld character.
Right.
It's got notes, like, there's a character by the name of Teddy Bass from the movie Sexy Beast, and he's just a underworld crime syndicate guy, and they call him Mr. Black Magic. So
nice.
It's just got, I had that with another character, so I melded them together, but I didn't want this one to be too on the nose. So then I just got some new stuff designed, and it's similar themed, but it's a little less, it's not as on the nose as like the pentagram or something like that.
Right.
Today, everybody wants to be evil. Like, it's like the new thing in wrestling.
Yeah, everybody's trying to be like,
what's wrong with evil?
yeah, like the fucking black metal shit. You know, like we were talking before off air, you know, I'm a fucking underground metal guy, death metal, grindcore, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
We always kind of, I'm really not a big black metal man. And I always find it funny when we're at shows and those dudes walk by with the corpse paint. That's what they call it. I'm like, hey, look, there's Sting. So dude guy is like, did you just call me Sting? Like, yeah, I did.
Brandon Lee impersonator.
Yeah,
Rest in peace.
It's the whole gimmick of like, man, I guess I get it, but like in music, to me, I mean, you can have a shtick, I guess, but at least with us, it's all like the music. It comes out, it's just fucking real. So it's kind of like it's a joke when you see these guys like, we are evil. You'll buy all evil for $9.99. Like that shit just bothers me. But whatever, you know, I get it. I guess.
Yeah, there's an ass for every seat, right?
Yeah, sure is. But yeah, so you also are not only a part of MLW, but you run your own promotion as well, correct?
Yeah, I have a really good promotion on the West Coast.
Fuck yeah, you do.
We're the top drawing company. Our name is PCW ULTRA, and you can find us at PCWULTRA.com. And yeah, man, we got a big show coming up on Friday. Gail Kim's going to be there, Mil Muertes, TJ Perkins, the
Yeah.
Lucha Brothers, Ian Fatu,
Yeah.
Tessa Blanchard, on and on and on. So, yeah, man, it's going to be killer.
Fuck yeah, dude. I came across you guys, I want to say maybe a couple years ago now, through my YouTube wormhole. It was Rob Van Dam versus Pentagon.
Yeah, we were the first one to do that. That
Yeah,
was,
dude. What a fucking...
I don't know if it's... I think it happened again in TNA as a tag match. In fact, I know it has. With
Yeah, that just
right.
happened.
Yeah, but we did that in... we did those guys against each other in 2016.
Right. And that was for the title, too, right?
Yeah. Rob was our champion for, I'd say, maybe about 6 months, maybe 8 months, something like that.
Nice. Not a bad guy to have as your fucking champ. Rob's a fucking legend, dude.
No. We were an indie that came out pretty strong. I mean, we had a respectable draw, maybe, 250, 350,
Right.
the first 3 shows, and then first 3 or 4 shows, and then we got Rob on the 5th one, and we,
then you became the whole fucking show.
Yeah, my man, he did what Rob does, and that's draw people and draw attention to us. So yeah, we got into a way larger building, and then now we've been north of 1,000 people every single show, and it's been awesome. It's been super cool.
Fuck yeah, glad to hear that. I mean, I remember coming across that, and I was just like, and this was right around the time everybody that's listening to our show or that knows about Pentagon, Lucha Underground was his launching platform, as far as in the States.
We just caught him right then. So he was big in Mexico or rising in Mexico. When they grabbed him, it was the same thing. So we got him right along the same time. I think Lucha Underground had him a little bit earlier than us, and then there was some conflict with they were doing tapings on Saturdays, and we were running Saturdays, so we switched our day to Friday. This way we could accommodate Pentagon, and that's how we got the Friday date, and then that's how we got Pentagon, and then AAA tried to take his name and sue us, and then he changed it to Penta L0M. So but we've got a long history with him. Yeah, he's a good dude, man. He's super awesome, and his brother is awesome, and probably they are my favorite tag team to watch. I mean, they're just for different reasons. Like they're just so spectacular. Like the way
when you're not looking in a mirror.
Okay.
When the War Beast.
I mean, we're like Brody and Hanson. Like we're not talking spots. We're not talking, hey, you're going to see anything pretty. We're going to do smash mouth stuff, and then when you least expect it, Fatu's going to jump from the rafters. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
We complement each other. We're very different, but really similar as well, because we're similar mindset. He comes from that old school family, and I'm super old school. I've been around for 21 years, and I think he's in his 5th year, but he grew up in it. So,
dude,
he's got
5 years under his belt. I mean, he's fucking killing it. Like I said,
he's a natural. Like,
I saw
you're just kind of steering him now, because everything he has is raw talent. You're just trying to steer him so he gets the business and gets why and when and how. But dude, he's natural.
And
he's awesome.
From what I've noticed too, anywhere he's been, he is thoroughly impressed motherfuckers. Like he got me. I think the first time we became aware of him was AAW earlier this year when he showed up, and shortly after that, I was in Cicero watching you guys do your thing with Contra Unit, and I'm like, man, what the fuck is this, dude? Like, these guys are fucking brutal. You were pulling out the spike, throwing some color in the mix, which I'm all about. Man, just wetting them up,
Yeah. I come from that old Florida school. Yeah. So like Eddie Graham, that Florida Championship Wrestling, that influenced a lot of like Puerto Rico and ECW, and so I come from that extreme wrestling. You need every act in the circus. If you don't like the trapeze artists, here come the lions. You don't like the lions, here come the monkeys. Here come the clowns. So you got to have every act to have a family of 5 come and walk away with a different favorite wrestler, so you can you can appease everybody.
Oh yeah. And get back to the Lucha Bros real quick. I've had the opportunity to see them a number of times now out in the Chicagoland area with like Warrior Wrestling. and MLW as well. It if I'm gonna mark out right now, it kind of flipped me out because I was in catering at the Last Warrior. It's like, oh shit, there's Phoenix and Pentagon without their masks, and it's like, oh god damn it, like I can't unsee that now. Like, but I honestly think those two guys, and I've said on here many a times, as far as modern day luchadors go, they will go down and be like the Blue Demons and the Rey Mysterios of like this day and age. What's your opinion on that?
I agree 100%. Yeah, they're game changers. Those guys have made lucha cool in the States. I mean, you know, Ray and all and Psychosis and all those guys, they, you know, obviously Conan had a lot to do with it, you know, bringing a lot of those guys down, but these guys in the modern era, they've just or I guess that was the modern era as well, but these guys in today's era rather, as of right now, present time, they're just next level. I mean, they're just, and the thing about Penta is he brings in that pageantry like Muta. So
I love the fucking Great Muta too, man.
Yeah, Muta's a buddy of mine, and he's worked with us on our show before. And I've got, if you get a chance, I got photographs of me and him riding roller coasters. I spent the day at the amusement park with him, and I'm not like you can't really get me to mark out anymore, but I was pretty happy that day.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you were maybe you were aware of Impact Wrestling and House of Hardcore this past weekend. They just put on the did you watch that?
I didn't watch it, but I talked to him like online when he was here, and I know he was either going to Philly yesterday or something, or something like that. But yeah, I would have, and I missed him when he came to New York too. We were busy doing the tapings. I think we were in Queens, and they were like super far away, so I couldn't really get away. I was busy all day, but yeah, dude, he's the man.
He's one of those guys, like growing up, like he had that mystique. He had the build and his motions. And I as a guy in the business, and especially a guy who has tenure like you do, I've said this and made this comparison. I think Austin Aries, I think a lot of his mannerisms and movements come from the Great Muta. Like just the way he kind of twitches, you know, how he does that weird. I don't know.
Yeah. You know, Muta's somebody that influences a lot of people, whether it be, you know, blatant ripoffs or subtle things.
Right.
The only other guy that I can really think of that has mannerisms that are just so unique is Low Key. He's just somebody that, like, whoa, like you could see a silhouette of Low Key moving and know it's Low Key. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
Super original, super unique. So.
Yeah, and that shit goes a long way. I mean, that's really memorable, you know. But
for sure.
Another question for you, getting back to Muta, because like I said, I'm a huge fan. We did an episode on him, going back about 30 episodes ago, called Season of the Mist, and you guys can check that out on jpdub.com. I had to throw that in there. But Muta, his whole story and everything, like, for as a kid watching this guy in the old like NWA and WCW and with Gary Hart, who is one of my absolute favorite fucking managers. Dude, that was just like it was that kind of presence that just burned into your brain. Like, holy shit. Like, in my opinion, the Great Muta goes down as like the greatest Japanese import of all time, you know, and that's,
I have to agree.
Yeah, and I know I might get some flack because everybody, you know, is all about New Japan nowadays, and they do have a lot of great talent over there. But man,
you'll get flack from anything you say nowadays.
I know,
motherfuckers so sensitive to rebut an opinion. But the thing about Gary Hart and the Great Muta is that their style of Muta's in ring and Gary's presentation, you couldn't see through it. So, I mean, that's why you remember it. That's why you connected with it, is because the believability, they really, really were committed to their craft. They went above and beyond to be absolutely committed to their craft so that the fans who paid their $15 or whatever it was, they couldn't see through that performance. And that's a testament to them as performers. And, as, you know, so that's kind of well, not kind of, but that's the school I come from, and that's what I try to do with the Contra unit is, I don't want you seeing through that shit. I want you to believe it, feel it, and I want you to be connected to it in that way. So I think that's the way wrestling is meant to be presented.
Exactly.
And when you act like it's a joke, and you act like everybody's in on the joke and we're all kidding. I mean, some people like that stuff and some people like it, but I do believe it's a completely different flavor of wrestling that both need to be. And I'm not saying one's good, one's bad, because sometimes I like to watch comedy, sometimes I like to watch De Niro and Cape Fear, and sometimes I like to watch a romantic comedy with my wife. So it's
pussy.
It's all flavors, but
joking.
But I like Cape Fear the best.
Hell yeah. One more thing before we move on from Muta. I mean, I'm sorry you brought him up. He's one of my absolute favorites. You guys are boys. Like, how is his English? I've always wondered that.
It's not bad. The Japanese all do the same thing. They don't act like they speak English.
Yeah.
I mean, and then it comes out. The easiest way to get foreign wrestlers to speak English is to tell them you don't have their money. They start speaking English real quick.
Oh yeah, right. What the fuck, my money?
So you rib them, and you figure out ways to get them to talk. But no, Muta, his English is very good.
Well, and you guys also have something in common too, both being former NWA World Heavyweight Champions. Am I correct?
That is correct.
That is correct.
That is correct. Of course, his era was a bit more prestigious than mine, but yeah.
But still, nonetheless, I mean, that's something you got under your belt. That's like, fuck, man, you share that with the great fucking Muta, and not to mention, like Ric Flair and Harley Race and all those other guys. But come on,
Harley Race, come on, dude. When I started watching pro wrestling, Harley Race was the champion. So that's always when I think of a world champion, I think of Harley.
What was it like to win that belt, though, man? Like, what were the thoughts going through your head the moment that it's like 1, 2, 3, and it's like, holy fuck, I'm fucking NWA World Heavyweight Champion?
Well, I mean, it wasn't as sweet as I would like it. It was at a time where I was climbing, and when you're in the wrestling business and your head's not quite above water and you're kicking and scratching and clawing and climbing, the water's a little muddy. It wasn't as sweet as it could have been. I was trying to do really good business with it. And the NWA at the time was there's no other way to say it. They were just really stupid. It was a really toxic environment, and I had brought the belt to defend in Japan, and they didn't want it defended. And the Japanese office told me, they didn't want a defense, so I started doing tag matches on my first tour. Mm-hmm. And then I went back, and then they defended it, and I did a title versus title match at Korakuen Hall. Nice. And I won the 0-1 world title in the title versus title, and then the NWA wanted to change plans when we had all of this in motion and everything, and it was just a bunch of dummies.
Who was that fucking clown that was running it at the time?
It was Bob Tropich, and everybody at the time was talking all types of trash about me. And I just let him talk, because I was a heel at the time, and I still am. I was just letting him talk, and meanwhile, I'm getting on a plane every week and going to Australia or Japan or wherever, and I was doing well. So whatever, just keep talking. And everybody was just throwing crazy shade on me, and then it all shook out where Tropich was doing insurance scams and it was like karma. Like it was almost instant. Like they really tried to hurt my business. And I was just like, okay. Now, the way they painted me back then, meanwhile, now I'm running one of them. I was doing great stuff then, but I'm doing even better stuff now. And it's like, where are all those guys? They're all, out of the business. They weren't ever really in. And they're just a bunch of clowns.
Well, he owned it up until Billy bought it, right? Billy Corgan?
No, actually, Bruce Tharp.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Was a lawyer, and Bruce Tharp got the NWA in a settlement because they couldn't. Like, he basically called them out on their insurance fraud, and he did. I don't know exactly, but he did something to where he ended up getting them to settle by giving him the NWA. So, and I don't know where he could have figured out where all the insurance fraud information came from. Maybe a little birdie told him. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Exclusive.
Exclusive. That's one of our favorite words on here. Now, back then, that was what, circa like 2005, something like that?
Oh, no. I believe 11 or 12.
Oh,
Yeah,
2011. Okay. And you won the belt from Colt Cabana?
I did. I won the belt from Colt Cabana.
Nice. How was your guys' relationship?
Ooh, not good at all.
Really? Fuck him?
Yeah, he didn't.
Didn't want to do business?
I think what happened was they didn't tell him that he was gonna, have to do that, and they didn't want the guy that had it didn't want to do it, and then because it was on a certain TV, and they didn't want it to leave TV because they had all their angles wrapped around it, and then they put it on Colt, and then Colt got sore that he had to put it on me, and he just held it.
And not to cut you off, Joseph, but to be honest, around that time with the NWA, what fucking TV did they have?
Oh, they had a shitty local in California that's still going.
The
now.
NWA from Hollywood
Garbage.
or Championship?
Yeah, it's garbage.
Yeah.
Absolute garbage. And oh, this is shooting gallery tonight, boy. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's a shoot. Bye.
I don't care. And it was just they just tried to ruin a good time. And then it was just a bunch of people all doing business for themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, when when you're in this business, it is business, so it tends to be selfish because you're trying to keep one foot
right.
in
It's
front of the other,
cutthroat,
and you're trying to eat. Yeah, it's really not personal. But they made 2 documentaries.
Look at this
really
guy, the mafioso. It's nothing personal, I just killed your family.
It's not personal, man. It's just business, and they got really petty about it.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of laughing at them, and they were just they were really mad, really mad. It was silly, and everything they tried to do, I just trumped them, and they just they just couldn't take it, so they would just get pissed off and take their ball and go home and get all mad and try to bury me. And I would just go, oh, okay. And I'm still here. I mean, I'm not going anywhere. This business is for everybody. And,
yeah. It's for everybody, and it's forever.
How's that attitude changed now from back then when there was that sort of cutthroat, everybody's in it for themselves? It seems like with this promotion that you run, that the attitude is changing, that it is more, I guess, helping out more, at least. Like, it's not so toxic.
A lot of the stuff, online with any industry, I think is bullshit. We're all friends, we're all this, we're all that.
Yeah. I've seen that firsthand.
Everybody's cool. Yeah, everybody's cool when nobody's making money. And when somebody starts making money, then everybody's got a reason why that person shouldn't be making money. That person's this, that person's that. It's a real jealous, selfish deal. The reason why my company is cool is because, I run it. I run it with a really, really healthy locker room. So if somebody starts to wild out or get silly, I don't fire anybody because it's independent wrestling. I just don't call them back.
Yeah, you just don't book them.
I just don't book them. So we have a really healthy, and everybody's super stoked to work at my show because they get really high profile matches. They get to work in front of a big crowd.
Yeah.
They have, catering and sports massage, and there's usually awesome legends there, and there's fans that buy all the merch, and everything's set up in a proper way. So, you'd be silly not to. If you're an independent contractor and you're going from town to town to town, the shows that you go to that are good, you're grateful for those shows.
Oh, yeah.
Me personally, I go out on the road now, but I don't tour extensively like I used to because I'm older and
and that shit sucks.
doing other.
You got family, right? You know what I'm saying in that aspect. Some people dig it, but I didn't dig it with the band shit. It's like it was cool, I guess, but fuck touring,
Yeah, the road's hard. When I was a younger guy, I really did like the road.
Yeah.
Now it takes me a few days to recover. I'm like, so now I'm leaving my bag. you know, if my wife's a flight attendant, so if she's not home, like, because I'm super male chauvinist. I was, you know, I'm from the '70s, so my wife does my laundry and all that stuff.
It's all good.
By choice, but yeah. So I'll leave my bag and you know, for like 2 days I won't even go in it because I'm just beat, man. I'm just like, so I don't really dig the road that much, but you know, but then running your own show, it's like planning a wedding every couple months, you know. It's just a lot of work. It's all, everything in wrestling's a lot of work, you know.
Oh yeah.
On top of that, your style is brutal.
Yeah. Well,
so you got to recover from those kind of things.
Yeah, we hit hard, and we take as good as we get. So yeah, it's like when after you're in there with us, or we're in there with like, you know, a team that fires back heavy on us. It feels like you've been in a bar fight. I mean, we're pretty well beat up. So yeah, you know, but it's fun, and you know, all the work, when it's your passion, it doesn't feel like work, you know. When it's your passion, you got all these ideas and you're trying to figure out all this cool shit, and you know, if it was a 9 to 5, like I haven't had a 9 to 5 since, I mean, I've been in wrestling since '98. I haven't had a 9 to 5. So
you lucky son, bitch.
Yeah, you feel me? But so yeah, man. I mean, well, you know, as a kid in the business, what I would do is I'd make programs. I'd have the double Go video cassette deal where I'd make promo tapes for guys, and I'd design websites, and I would just figure out how to eat off the business when I was getting, you know, $50 paydays. Right. So I'd figure out how to make it work, you know, and you know, back in the day, you know, a girlfriend with a good job always helped.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, you know, being in a band.
Yep.
And yeah, you know, so I just always was laser focused on, you know, not just the in-ring, but every aspect of the business. I mean, I've literally...
Well, you got to be, and that kind of harkens, you were talking about Bruiser Bodie being one of your... Bodie. I had to throw a shout out to my buddy, Josh Bodie. We call him Bruiser Bodie. But Bruiser Brody being one of the early students of the game, you know, like, and learning how to do all that shit backstage, and like, that's kind of what I take away from that, you know?
Yeah, like I'm a sponge. Like I want to know everything about everything, you know, in this business. So, you know, I've pretty much been everywhere, as far as within an organization, not everywhere in every company, but I mean, within a company, like I've pretty much, especially running your own stuff, even if you're not operating the camera, you're in on everything.
Right.
So I'm in on everything from directing to, you know, doing the shots and the promos, and I'm just so I get all aspects, and then I get, you know, I've been with larger companies. Our company is really big for an indie, but I've been with television companies and things like that, and international companies, and so I've seen, you know, I've done agenting, and I've done multiple things. So, you know, I just like to keep, you know, I don't know where I'll end up or where I'll land, but I know that wherever I am, I'll have a good grasp of most of the jobs that can be done. So I'm a good, you know,
so you'll be able to dance where you want to. Man with many hats.
I have a question. So how old is your promotion?
We started in January of 2016.
Okay.
So
do you have an ultimate goal with that? Do you know the realistic nature of like independent promotions? How does that work? Because you seem to book some badass people, but how does that whole thing go? Like how are you able to? Is it all based on reputation, or people know that that you pay on time, or how does that whole thing work to grow it? And then, do you have an ultimate goal with it? Is there a ceiling with like a regional promotion like that?
Well, I mean, how am I able to do it? Reputation, like so early on, you know, I called out a lot of favors, and I booked people that I had, you know, relationships with until I was able to crack a lot, because I had like really slowed down. I ripped my my foot apart in Australia in, I think, 2013, I believe, and it took me like a year to heal that up. So I had really slowed down. Yeah, it was not a good time. It took me a while. Where I was like, okay, now I'm winding down, and that's how the business is you think you're winding down, and then as soon as you go out, like Pacino says in The Godfather 3, yep. they take you back in. So like right when I started to wind down, that started to happen. So I pulled in a bunch of favors, and then by doing good business and having a respectable company, I was able to crack into the newer guys, because you got to remember 2013 to 2016, a lot of things changed, and as far as style, we got really into a more high spot style in those 3 years, and then we started getting huge indie darlings by 2016 to present time. So that's when all the Matt Riddles and the Shane Stricklands and the Ricochets and all these guys started to break, the Tessa Blanchards. And I didn't know any of these people. So these were all people that were breaking. And with my reputation, I was able to get all those people in. And then they would, hey, Joe, Joe. ACH or this guy, and I don't know, send them my way, and I would get the boys would tell their friends because it was a good place, so I would get word of mouth that way. But as far as a glass ceiling or whatever, currently we're a live business. So that's what we're doing now. We're a live business. We're putting on live events, and we're succeeding in a big way. If we decide to change that, that would be a discussion, and we'd decide, hey, if we want to go to television, and we would tackle it just like any other thing, man. We would figure it all out. We would see what we got to do. We'd get all of our stuff in place. We'd run it for about 6 months in our head. We'd try to work out all the bugs before we went live with it, and we'd figure it all out as, once we started running it, we'd keep going back to the drawing board and fine-tuning it and this and that. But currently, we're just a live business, and we've got vendors, we've got a lot of food, we've got beer.
And you guys have streaming services as well? Are you on any of those, like independentwrestling.tv or any of that?
We're on Pivot Share, and we do a lot of iPay-per-views with Fight.
Oh, Fight, yeah.
We're not going to do Fight this time because our connection in our building has been poor the last couple shows. So I just don't want to get that bad. I don't want it to drop out on people and stuff. I've heard a few people say, the connection was, whatever.
Yeah, so it doesn't take much to turn people off when the connection is bad. It takes like nothing.
Yeah, totally. So we've got a great... Our product's really well produced. We've got like a 4-camera shoot, and we've got editors, and it's produced well. So taking it back and shaving all the warts is not a bad thing too, and getting it all, because
can you shave mine?
We run it live, and then it's we take a week or whatever to get it like real ship shady, and then we put it on our on demand, and then we're on Amazon Prime.
Sweet. And do you guys sell physical copies, like any Blu-ray or DVD or anything?
We used to, and he just didn't move as well as we thought they would. It just did. Everybody wants digital.
Yeah,
it's like we would sell to older people or people that still have DVD players, but like mostly nobody. Everybody's got a smart TV. Nobody wants a.
Which is weird. I get that. It's like same thing with like I don't know about you, but I'm a somewhat of a decent gamer. I play a few video games on Xbox. I consistently download games because it's convenient, but then there comes that point where, say, hey, it's new Call of Duty, or I just, more recently, Mortal Kombat 11 came out. I was like, I have to fucking own it. It's one of those things where, for me personally, I'm all platforms, even with music. Say a band puts out something, I like it. Initially, I'll probably steal it. Because, and
then if you dig it, you'll buy it,
Yeah, and not only will I buy it, but I'm going to buy the fucking CD. I buy the vinyl because first and foremost, I'm a fucking vinyl nut, much like yourself, and we'll get into that.
Sure.
But it's just, if it's a band I support and it's really something that moves me, I will buy it any way I can, and not just like to be the fucking dork that's like, oh, I just want to support you guys. Not that that's a bad thing, But
Right.
that it's just I'm super passionate about a product that I fucking like, you know.
The only problem is there's like 20 of you that go to my show. So,
Yeah,
so if
exactly.
I buy a truckload of DVDs, like they're sitting there. So I mean,
Well, yeah, but you don't buy a
agree with-
truckload, you know. Make some fucking do some bootleg shit yourself and sell me 20 of them, and I'll sell them.
Yeah. Then that's the thing too, is we're kind of chained to the fact that we like to deliver a high quality product. So that goes like if we do the Blu-rays, then the artwork's perfect. Then we make the what do you call it, the chapters, and we just do it all right, and we send it and closed caption it and just do it like a professional
like it
thing.
should be.
And it's just I mean, I've gotten those DVDs before where there's no cover on them, and there's,
and they got that weird smell. You could tell it came off fresh off a burner or some shit. It's like that weird fucking what the fuck?
What the fuck is
that? Yeah, like well, fuck that shit. Some fucking dork like in his boxers burned that in his mom's basement or some shit like that.
Yeah, man, I don't want that. It's got schmegma all over it.
Ectoplasm. But yeah. No, I get your point on that. I'm just, like you said, I'm one of those rare guys that still, like, if it's something I like, I mean, I'll swoop it up any way I can. And another thing is, it's a dumb thing because, like, my buddy, he's actually in my band, but his band Dirty Dead just put out an album, and it's like, okay, convenience factor. I hadn't gotten my vinyl yet, but I have iTunes. I need to listen to this shit right now because I've waited fucking 10 years for this album to drop.
Oh, yeah,
boom.
Totally.
There it is, Yeah. So
I'm all about the digital because you got to take that into the car or have it on your phone, and then you're at home, you throw on the vinyl, and the only time I get CDs now is like if I buy some like crazy deluxe package that a band puts out and the CD's in it. But I'm not going out for the CD anymore because I don't even have a CD changer in my car or anything.
Isn't that so weird? Like, just think about like 20 years ago, how we all had these fucking huge binders of CDs, and you're worried about them getting scratched, or going to Best Buy or wherever, or 5 Finger discounting some blank CDs so you could burn them off of what was the big thing back then? It wasn't Napster. Holy shit. I'll tell you what though, back then there were some really good rare recordings, like live and like B-sides from bands. That's why I like Napster. I wouldn't necessarily straight up, say like Deftones put out an album or something. I wouldn't go for that, the studio album, because I'll go fucking buy it. But I want the shit. I use Napster for the shit you couldn't get. Like the weird imports and all that.
Yeah, that was before YouTube really blew up,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was even before YouTube was even out.
Around, yeah.
So I would get like live cuts from Clutch or live concerts, and I would take those and then I would burn them to CD, and stuff like that. But yeah, man, that's just a lifetime ago, right?
Yeah, I know, it's so weird, but it's really not that long ago. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not that much older than us, so it's like
not long ago, but the way we consume our media changed super fast
and drastically.
Just in the last 4 years, the way it's changed is crazy.
Yeah. Like that technology wise, that's like the people that are sitting around waiting for the flying cars and shit. That's already happened as far as like audio and digital technology, that we're already.
Yeah, if you look at like the last 10 years compared to like any other time in history, there's never been this big of a jump.
Oh yeah.
And it's just insane.
That's why people are losing their minds online with the ability to have an opinion, and it's just all kinds of voices all at once, and it's a quick adjustment period. I think we'll be cool in about 4 or 5 years.
Nah, I'll give it 10.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think it'll adjust
reading
properly.
comprehension online and like the way people respond to stuff, or if you throw a flyer up online and it has just the date and everything visible on it, and where is this at?
I know, that's what pisses me off. Like, where's that? Like, read the flyer, motherfucker.
Yeah,
read it for me.
Can't you make a video that reads the flyer for me?
Yeah. Hey, I get that shit with my band. Like, some of my boys too would be like, "Oh, you guys are playing tonight," and I'm like, I'm at home fucking in my boxers getting ready to fucking toss it to my old lady or something, like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? I don't play for another month.
I just saw it now, so it must be happening now.
Yeah. real big, real hard, real stiff. Joseph, let me get your opinion real quick, because the wrestling climate, I mean, it's nowadays, and I think, which is a great coup to you guys and anybody who's running like independent shows, because the wrestling business, and we've been saying it since I've started this podcast, it's part of the reason that I wanted to do it, other than, you know, I'm a fucking dork who likes to talk about wrestling and shit. But
Dork.
oh, thanks. You're such a supportive producer, Sreten. I think that wrestling it's on this fucking boom again. And it's like a boom that, obviously, I mean, with the way technology is, that we've never seen before. So as far as like the amount of product that is available, which I believe it's awesome, but it's super fucking overwhelming at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of this stuff, I think there was the same amount of actual wrestling happening. It's just now everything's connected with the internet.
Right.
And, you know, and I do believe that the business is you know, there is an insane amount of shows, and maybe there is more wrestling. I mean, I don't have the stats in front of me, but a lot of these companies that are really big online, they're not really drawing anything. They're like a lot of like, they're a logo and everybody's into it and people.
It's like the kid who's like, putting out a band, and it's like, oh yeah, I haven't recorded anything yet, but I started a fucking Facebook page. And
well, it's like there's 150 people at a show, and it's like, you know, inside of a phone booth, and everybody's losing their mind. I mean, I get it. That's cool. I'm proud of them for doing it and everything. But like, we have like upwards of 1,500 people at our show. We bust our ass to promote, and we consider ourselves a live business. So, there isn't a lot of companies like us around, so there is a lot of small companies around. So there is a lot of wrestling, and there's a lot of content available because we're all connected. But a lot of these companies aren't really making money or doing anything or paying much or anything. So it's a weird thing. It's a kind of but not really. So
right.
When I broke in in '98, and I broke in and quickly went to Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico was a territory.
Yeah,
was the last remaining territory. And I mean, you could make a living there, and everything was super cheap. And, we wrestled 4 nights a week, and we shot TV all in one day. So we worked 5 days a week. And,
let me ask you, can I get you to shoot on something real quick, being a Bruiser Brody fan? Because, I mean, and you've seen the Dark Side of the Ring series. I and being a Brody fan since I was a kid, and seeing that, it brought my rage out even more, how that whole fucking situation was handled.
Yeah.
I mean, you being a big fan as well.
But have you ever been to Puerto Rico?
No, I have not.
Okay. Yeah, Puerto Rico it's like a time warp. I mean, first of all, if you go to Burger King, it takes you about an hour and 15 minutes to get yourself a burger. I mean, everybody works slow there. So the fact that the ambulance even came is surprising. Just knowing Puerto Rico and island life, and because I lived there.
So they still sell Yumbos at Burger King down there, right?
Probably. But if you get hurt there, you're better off going to Burger King, because at least Burger King has ice. Like the hospitals there are just, they don't give a shit. So, but anyway, I didn't mean to cut you off. What was your?
No, well, my whole thing was like you going out there and being a fan, obviously, of that, of Brody and that whole situation. Like, I don't know. I guess I'd kind of like to know, like, was it a little weird? Was there a little fear, maybe? Like, kind of like, if some shit does happen.
The guy who killed him was my boss.
Oh, yeah. What was that? What's his name?
Big Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Invader 1. So, yeah, he was my boss. So, I mean, he was the booker. So,
I mean, it is what it is, but that shit just pisses me off, dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a young kid, at that time, we weren't as connected. We knew what we knew about Bruiser Brody from the wrestling magazines.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you go there, you figure it out real quick, and you know what's what. And then there's the guy kind of lives off the intimidation of that act. And, so he's kind of a macho guy that but he liked us, and he was cool with us. He's a man's man, and if you get on his bad side, he's going to bury you, or literally.
Yeah.
But he was. I wasn't scared of him. And,
I like to fucking bury him.
Yeah. But
sorry.
Yeah, and then he got fired, and then I went back and worked for them some more, and then I started working with Savio Vega, who is just a gem of a guy. I mean, Savio is just such an awesome guy. So I feuded with him quite extensively, like in the States and in Puerto Rico and everything. But
did you ever work with any of the Colognes?
Oh yeah. I worked with all of them.
Nice.
Except for I didn't work in the ring or in any angles with Stacy Colon, but or Orlando. Orlando was not in the business when I was there, and then when he was, I was at IWA. But I worked. Our first angle was with Carlito when he was before he had an afro or anything, and Primo Zeddy.
That's
we
not
used
cool.
to go down. Yeah, it's not cool. We used to go down there. Carlito would have Ray Gonzalez every night in the figure four, and me and my partner would go down there and break it up. So we had major heat on that island, and that island's not that big.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'd be at places, and, people didn't like us. The TV was really strong, and, it sounds real brother, but it was pretty hectic down there, man. It was, people would try to stab you.
Oh, yeah.
With boat hangers, they throw dirty diapers at you. They throw, cups of piss it all over you, and spark plugs and batteries, and so
how come Gigi Allen never toured down there?
I don't know, man. He'd be right at home.
That would have been like the American retaliation. Like, you know what, you did all this fucked up shit here. Have Gigi for a fucking couple of days.
Yeah. I don't know how that would have worked out. I don't think the Puerto Ricans would have been scared. I think they would have killed him pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah. But I worked in the building that that incident happened with Brody, and I showered in that shower.
How weird was that, man? Like being
pretty
a fan.
Weird.
I couldn't imagine. I'm getting just thinking about it right now. If I was in your shoes, and I like to go deep on shit. As far as like thought, it's weird. It bothers me, man.
Well, wrestling's weird. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm in a room, and I'm I'm in a shower, that probably the one of the only wrestling idols I ever had was murdered in, and then I walk out and there's a naked Abdul the Butcher, and there's
still couldn't see
and
anything.
Jimmy Star, and so I mean wrestling's weird.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, right?
Wrestling.
I was just a kid trying to make it, and I had to go through some weird shit to get where I'm at now, and it's just I've seen weirder shit than that. That's for sure.
Fuck yeah. So how often do you guys run shows?
Well, we used to run like 10 a year, but that just was too much.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's like we try to over deliver, and we do a really, really elite product. So it was literally like planning a wedding every 6 weeks, and it was just too much. So and then I got on with MLW, so I scaled it back to 6 a year. I think we're doing 5 this year. But they're just big productions. I mean, we've got lighting, and we've got just these huge stars and legends. And I mean, we've had Stan Hansen and Terry Funk, and the Great Muta, Ricky Steamboat, Mick Foley. So we've had Kevin Sullivan. We've had some really, really incredible, even the Road Warrior Animal, incredible, iconic. Real legends, like a lot of people like, hey, we got a legend, and it's whatever. I'm not trying to shit on anybody, but I'm talking upper echelon.
Those are iconics, and we get some of that around here. Shout out to my boy Mikey from Black Label Pro. He's gonna have Ricky Steamboat here July 27th doing a seminar. In Crown Point,
we had
Indiana.
Steamboat do a seminar as well, and he's a gem.
Dude, I've talked about him many times on this show. To me, as a kid growing up back then in that whole, we call it the Hogan era, the golden era, whatever you want to call it, Ricky Steamboat to
would
me
go to
was
that
like
seminar
Bruce Lee
if I
and
was you.
Rambo. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I would go to that seminar if I was you. He puts on such a great seminar. It's mostly like classroom where he's just teaching. But the best thing about like Ricky and Hanson and Funk and when they walk into my building, they smile.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, this is chic. This is a wrestling building. Like
Fuck yeah.
I bring them back. Like when they come into my building, it really transports them. They all approve, and that's, you know, I see things from that vantage point. Like I'm really old school. Most of everything I learned about that side of the business is from Kevin Sullivan. Me and Kevin have been really, really close friends for, God, I would say it's almost going on 20 years.
That's awesome.
And, you know, Jake Roberts and guys like that I talk to these guys about
psychology.
Not just the in-ring. Well, the psychology for sure. If you're going to talk about psychology,
yeah.
Jake and Kevin are just masters.
Jake's
So,
like probably one of the
course.
best, if not of all time, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk promo with Jake, you want to talk psychology with Jake, you want to talk the hows, the whens, the whys. Absolutely, same thing with Kevin.
Right.
But with Kevin mainly, it's you know he was up in WCW for
Booker
those
man
83 weeks when they beat Vince, and he knows, you know, how to set a building up, and he knows what to look for. He knows. So I asked Kevin the questions that, you know, you don't ask people, you know, and not in-ring questions, the business aspect, you know, and Kevin's really smartened me up to all that stuff. So that's really how I'm able to put together these high-quality shows, because I'm learning from the Jedis, you know, the guys.
Jedi.
The guys that have. I was told early on, you know, talk to the guys that made money. And that's what you do, you know. And I've been able to make money myself, not billions of dollars, but I've been able to keep one foot in front of the other and live pretty comfortably for, you know, my time in the business. It's all because of, you know, doing something, being able to make a living in wrestling with, you know, this is the first time I've had United States television. I've been on TV in other countries, but this is the first time with MLW that I've had U.S. TV, and to be able to make a living without United States TV in the United States is
it's very
really
tough.
difficult. Yeah. It's like being in a band and getting in the van every weekend, and you know, it's you know, and then you have to figure out other ways to do it. You got to figure out the new technology and all the ways to eat off of it. But
you got to figure out how to fix that van when it breaks down.
Damn right, yeah. So and that van is my body. So, you know, trying to, you know, making sure you have the insurance, making sure just everything, rainy day shit, 10 steps ahead shit, you know.
Speaking of insurance, not to cut you off, but there's a thing going around that I've heard about. You're out in California, right?
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
About it might be a little tough for anybody to really run anything out there as far as a like independent contractor if they don't like have insurance, or what's the deal with that?
More so for the WWE, so it's not really going to affect
bad,
independent wrestling. Yeah. So it'll maybe take a couple, you know, to make a couple chinks in their armor, but you know, but when it gets to, I heard somebody saying something about, well, if they, try to dispute something or whatever, you know, they have WrestleMania. So it's like, oh, you don't want WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is supposed to come to LA in 2021. So it's like they have a negotiating, you know, they've got something to negotiate with. Like, okay, well, we're not going to bring all this revenue to your city then. So I would imagine it'll work itself out, you know. So, but I don't think it really concerns us at our level.
Well, that's good, man, because I'd hate to see it. Fuck with anybody out there. I was like, I heard something about it. I didn't know any details, so I'm not gonna act like I'm fucking, you know, Johnny IQ with it. But I you know, just sucks to kind of hear something like that.
It might hurt, you know, TV companies. I don't know how it will affect like the MLWs, the Impacts, the Ring of Honors of the world. You know, but it's not going to really affect us. I don't believe. I mean, I could be 1,000,000% wrong. It would be the first time, you know.
Cool. Well, hey, man, so let us know real quick where people can find you at.
I've got a show this Friday for PCW Ultra, and you can still get tickets at PCWUltra.com.
Fucking buy them.
Fucking buy them. I think we've got over 700 sold already, pre-sold, so it's going to be a sellout. Killer card. The who's who of independent wrestling. Gail Kim's going to be there. A couple other surprises that we haven't.
Yeah, you got Tessa versus Jordan Grace, man. That's a good matchup. I've seen that matchup. That's good for you guys, man. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, Tessa's been with us for over a year now. She's been undefeated. So her against Jordan is a big match for her. And then me, you can find me at Josef Samael. That's JosefSamael. Just in case I wanted to be a little harder to spell, make it a little harder for you.
Real hard, real stiff, as Jim Ross would say.
Real hard, real stiff.
By God, Joseph.
And then you can find me at my website at allviolenceislegal.com.
I fucking love that.
And then I have warofsound.com where you can buy some pretty killer vinyl.
Sweet. And we're going to get in on that because little did you know you're doing 2 episodes tonight. So next episode, as Dr. Dre would say, we're going to catch a little bit more of what you're into in your personal life and, obviously talk a little bit more wrestling. But,
sure,
yeah, I'd like to thank you for coming on, man. You killed it, dude. I thought it was a great episode.
Thank you very much.
I hope everybody, anybody out there listening in the California region, or if you're close by, fucking in Vegas. How far is Vegas from you guys?
4 hours. It's
that ain't shit.
And a wrestling fan,
Yeah. I mean, you guys got a stacked card. I would drive 4 hours for that fucking card. It's like our buddy Steve from Warrior Wrestling says. He puts on cards. It's like if you live 4 hours or 6 hours away, you would drive to this. And I think you guys are doing the same thing. So everybody, get out there and check out PCW Ultra. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that shit, and buy your tickets. You can follow Juice Pro Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram at Juice Pro Wrestling, on Twitter at JPW Podcast. We're all over any podcasting platform. Isn't that right, Sret?
That is correct.
Yeah. Whether you use Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Google, all that good shit. You can also leave us a voicemail at 1-872-267-4199 if you want to talk some shit. Hey, want to talk some shit?
Do it.
I fucking dare you. Anyways, till next time, this is the Juice. This is Sreten and Joseph. You gotta jump in with us on this. You're an old school rap fan, right? You like the old school Eazy-E or what?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I grew up on Easy.
Oh man, hey,
house party.
Then you gotta join us, and when we say, "Wad 'em up, wad 'em up, wad 'em up, wad 'em up, wad 'em up," yeah. You gonna do sex to me?